Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Santa's Workshop here. It is another gloriously hot day in Oklahoma. Yes, summer's here. Fun, fun. Time to rearrange the sleep schedule. Today's video, the top is coming off. Tops are off, gentlemen. The roof is being removed. Well, you get the idea. What we're going to do, I'm going to cut above this brace right across here. You can see my scratch marks here. I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut across this way. Then we're going to cut across here. That way I can piece out what I want to remove without damaging the material that's going to stay behind. I have done this many times before, and I'm still getting comments, you know, it needs to be braced. It's got to be braced. This car is a full frame. This roof literally does not have any bracing in it. I mean, look, it's sheet metal, and all you have is double sheet metal here on the side. It's not going to move. If it does move, before I go to welding, I have my measurements written, 48.58 inches across here to that point right there. There it is. I have my roof measurements, 12.25 inches from this point right here to this point right here. And that is from edge to edge. And the reason I use these points is because it is the same on this roof as it is on that roof. They're made on the same jig. Even though one's a Chevrolet, one's a GMC, they are made at the same place. Now then, I had a comment, this measurement is different than this measurement. Yes, the reason being, I measured from this point right here to the bottom side of this screw. Now if you see that mount right there, we come over here, this is much shorter than that one. So it's exactly 1 inch. So that's the difference in the reasoning for that. But as you see, I've got my little point right here, so I know exactly where to measure. I've got it marked here and here. And what do you know? 48 5/8. Same measurement. So we know exactly what we need for all the openings to be squared up. So if for some reason that while this top is off, I get inside here on the floorboard and jump up and down and bend this thing, I can get it back right. So that being said, you're probably going to hear some background noise, which is the fans going, because as I said, it is summertime in Oklahoma. It is hot, and I don't have air conditioning in this shop unlike Randy, but someday, but that's the plan for today. We're going to get that top off. We're going to start trimming everything up. We'll see how far we get. Let's get to it. All right, that did not take long. Now then, once we get down in here, see if we can see them. Check this other side. Now then, Now that that is off, you can see the spot welds right in here. I'm going to drill those out, and we are going to get this area cut out. For this, we're going to remove the seam, or expose the seam, cut it, splice it back here, and we're just going to do the reverse of what we did here. That way that will just sit right down in here just like it did from the factory. That being said, we're not going to be doing spot welds putting it back together. We are going to be welding a little bit more solid than spot welds. I had a comment saying that this roof is going to be weaker. No, it will be stronger. It will be stronger. The glass will be more sealed. Everything is going to be superior to what it was at the factory because we are taking our time on it. We are not assembly lining it. We are doing it one step at a time. Now then, you can see this metal right here. Get it focused, yep, right there. That is the factory bracing. That's staying on the car. Get inside here. You can see where it comes down right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out the spot welds from this side to where this stays intact. Yep, if I can, there it is. If this will stay intact. And this right here is just a simple cut. And as you see what I did on this one, I took it off. You can see where it was up against this. This is where the spot welds were. This is where it was just welded on the edge. So you can see this metal is not compromised. The brace will not be compromised. And we'll be welding it up, and it is going to be braced just as it was from the factory. Now then, if for some reason, now then I want to give you three reasons why this floor is not going to sag. One, it is a full frame car. Two, you have this transmission tunnel. It is rounded. That right there is strength. You have this support here across. That is, so it is enhancing that transmission tunnel. Three, you have the side deals here. Anytime you have a metal going down, that is strength against going this way. This car is not going to sag. And before I put the roof on, I will measure, and I will show the measurement, and if it sags, I will do something special. Don't know what yet, but I'll do something special. So let's get to cleaning this up, and who knows, we may be setting the top on by the end of this video. It would be nice. We'll see what we can do. we have got an interesting turn of events. This top has been replaced before. I don't know if you can see it. That little bit of different color right there, that is brass rod. They did not use brazing rods at the factory on the assembly line because that's something you have to do by hand. At least I've never seen a brazing robot. But you look down here, I got my sander out. The black is your basic primer that they put the metal in after it's formed. Your red oxide primer. Gray is your primer sealer. Then your brown, which is your base color. They dip these things and color the whole car, and then if it's a two-tone, they bring it in and they tape it off and paint the accent colors by hand. I believe this thing was replaced at the factory. And factories have body shops just like a dealership would. So if there is something happened on the assembly line, they will bring it in and replace a part or something. But I'm going to contact Randy and see if he ran a Carfax on this thing. But these welds here, that is not factory. We come over here to this one that we cut off, and you can tell it was just spot welded on. This side over here, you can see that was done with a MIG welder, because there's the piece of wire right there. You get over in here, and they didn't do a very pretty job at all. Look at the gaps in that thing. Well, this is going to make my job a little bit more interesting, because I'm going to have to be very careful taking this stuff apart, because I want to make sure this thing goes back together the correct way. So I want to do a little bit of thinking and go from here, see what we're going to do. Well, there is what it's going to go on to. I know that looks like a jumbled mess to most of y'all, but that right there is a saddle for that roof to set right down in. This right here gets attached on the inside. We've got an overlap right here that will attach on. Comes right across here and will seam up right here. I'm going to knock this in so that other one will come down over it and I can tack weld it right down through here. I got to find out exactly where this comes out to since I replaced a piece of that. So it's not going to be exact. So I'm going to set the roof on, mark it, get that exactly right. This right here is a factory edge. So everything should look really, really spectacular when we get it back on. Next, I'm going to be working on this one. Get it cut right where we want it. Let's see what it looks like underneath. Should look pretty good. Everything looks good under here. So we're going to be getting it off, getting this brace cut loose and cleaned up. I may come back out tomorrow morning and work on that. It's starting to get hot already and it's just 8 o'clock. So we'll get those done and get this thing cleaned up, and we will see how far we get on this video. Well, you can see that I got this one all apart. And yes, it is rusty in there, but not what I was fearing. But you get down here to where this foam was. Look how pretty that is right there. So from this point down, we're good. We are good. That side over there is nowhere near as rusted. That's why I wanted to do this side to show y'all. You can see inside there where I split that, it's got nice gray factory primer all up in there, besides the rust piled up on top of that foam. I will be cleaning this one up and this one off camera. I will have the camera rolling just in case something neat shows up, but it's the same story, different side. But you see now how I'm going to set this top on is going to be right down in this cradle here, and we got this that's still attached to the car that's going to attach to the inside of our donor roof. Right here. This is where I cut that other one off. So you see we got solid metal all the way down for that to go onto. What's going to be fun is getting this foam out, because I cannot weld with all that mess in there. So probably what I'll do is off camera dig it out and then torch it. And I'll probably take it outside to do that. So I've got my measurements on where to cut it down here below. You see how I cut it a little bit high from my measurement, and then after I measure, I'll cut it on the other one. I'll cut it right on, and when we set the roof on, I'll slowly trim this down until it matches up just perfect. But you'll see that in the next video, because in this next video we're putting a roof on. We are going to get this roof on and welded up in the next video, and then I think we'll be ready to reassemble and off to paint. We're going to partially assemble it, trailer it up, let Mako do a good paint job on it, and I'm still trying to talk with Randy about putting that hot motor in here. But we'll see what he says. It's his car in the end. But thank you for joining me on this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, share it with everybody. The subscriber base is still climbing. I've got a long ways to go. I've only been doing this 2.5 months. It is phenomenal. Thank you, every one of you. Couldn't do it without you. We will see you next time on Santa's Workshop.